All right, so lots of people asking me basically 3 or 4 different questions. One of which is why portals as opposed to a solid axle swap or a long travel suspension, maybe both, maybe all three. Okay, how many of us have that kind of money? Portals was enough. So I just thought I'd break it down why I decided I wanted to go with portals as opposed to a solid axle swap or long travel suspension. And of course, the number one reason is clearance, and true clearance at that. I'm not trying to build a desert racer. I'm trying to build the most comfortable, capable family adventure rig almost in the world. I don't know. So true clearance for the Rocky Mountains, for hopefully doing the Rubicon soon. Places with big rocks, big boulders, big ledges, Moab. That's what I wanted, and I wanted to be able to keep my AHC suspension from Lexus, which is, in my opinion, one of the best suspensions in the world for just overall versatility. It's good in almost it doesn't excel with, maybe it's not the best rock crawling suspension. Maybe it's, for sure not the best desert racing suspension, but man, it just does everything well. So it's kind of like this Swiss Army knife. It tows well, although I'm not going to be towing anything really, but it's great in the rocks. I haven't had any issues with it. And I get to keep my height control, so I can raise this up another 2 inches to put it into high mode. I can put it into low mode for easier access, maybe to the back of the truck, or for my wife and my son to get into the truck, whatever. And I can also keep my levels of, you can have sport, normal, comfort. So I really wanted to be able to keep the active height control that comes with the Lexus LX 570. And so with portals, I'm able to do that. Portals gives me 5.5 inches of true lift. So whereas a solid axle, it's kind of like a skateboard, right? Like I've seen so many solid axles, they've got 40-inch tires, maybe they even got 44-inch tires. And the axle is still low. You're gonna still hit things with your diff. Not that I'm never gonna hit anything, but I have 5.5 inches of true lift, whereas when they put on a 3.5, 4.5-inch lift, your axle still as low as the tires are gonna, make it be. Running a 40-inch tire with Werewolf portals, which gives you a 5.5 inches of true lift, that's the equivalent of running a 51.5-inch tire in regards to clearance. So I have something like 22 inches of clearance in the front, which is just ridiculous. I need to get out and measure that again, but it's ridiculous. So it also enables me to run these 40-inch tires, not just because it gives me the height I need to fit them. And we still had to do a lot of fabrication, some tubbing and cutting the bumpers and stuff like that. And thank you to Rob at Wolfworks Portals for all that fab he did, and installing the portals too. I've had zero issues with them. But this is the best setup for me for technical, some rock crawling type stuff, and still keep the comfort and all those kinds of things. And so the clearance helps with the larger tires, but also the gear reduction. Werewolf Portals offers a 35% gear reduction. So, it's no issue with this 5.7 V8 and a 35% gear reduction running 40s. Just switched to these Nitto trail grapplers. Got them balanced today. One of them took 0 weight. The others took 3 or 4 ounces. And it just rides so smooth. It's like butter. With the hydraulic suspension and the Nittos. It seriously drives better than stock. It also provides 4.5 inches of width on either side. So if you go up, you better go a little bit wider, or maybe a lot wider, so that you keep the center of gravity, where it needs to be. and it's even more stable. The other thing, it keeps the weight down low. You know, like rock crawlers, they'll put water in their tires to keep the tires down and keep them planted. Portals do that for me. Listen, long travel suspension, maybe it might be a little bit more comfortable on the road. Definitely better highways, desert racing, that kind of stuff. And to each their own, right? Like, I think long travel suspension is amazing. And if I could do it and keep AHC, I'd probably want to do that at some point. Didn't want to go solid axle because, again, I'm losing my AHC, which I, again, think is just an incredible suspension. And it's not as much clearance. You do get better articulation, that is for sure. But with the width that this provides, my articulation, the pivot point has changed to such a degree that it's pretty incredible. I'm actually anxious to get this on a ramp and see what the scores are. Maybe it doesn't beat a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon on 40s with a solid axle with articulation, but I'm gonna kill that thing in clearance. Pros and cons, but this is what I chose because I wanted to keep that comfort level and still have a super capable, I think this is probably maybe the second most capable LX in the world. So that's why I went portals. Now, I think the biggest con maybe to portals would be just that there's a little bit more maintenance, but it's easy maintenance. I think even I can learn to do it. I'm not a gearhead. I'm not super comfortable doing that kind of thing, but I think even I can learn to do this. So, and I am learning to do this. So that's why I went portals. What would you do? What would you prefer? Solid axle, long travel, portals, combination of the three? I don't know. I'll talk about why I chose Werewolf in my next little garage video here. All right.